Hello my flutist friends, and welcome back to Mimi's Flute Tips. Today I'm going to be talking about tuning C sharp, particularly the second and third C sharps on our instrument, also known as D flat, and as you know, often notes that can be very out of tune. Well, the major point about tuning in any context is that it's all relative. We must always be listening to ourselves, to tune to our own instrument, to tune to the context in which we're playing, be it solo, chamber, orchestra, or any ensemble, and also, of course, being aware of what key you're in and placing notes accordingly in that key. However, we have certain instrumental tendencies on C sharp because in the second octave for us, it's a note where all the keys are open. It exacerbates the tendency of flute to be almost like singing in that you can play any note as sharp or flat as you like, just by changing your embouchure and your air. But that's also going to be our solution, making infinitesimal adjustments to the embouchure and air stream that are able to keep the C sharp in tune. So the first main tendency of the note in this octave is that it be sharp, and I'm going to just demonstrate that by kind of overblowing it at the beginning of the Mozart Concerto in D. Ooh, I don't want to do that too much, but you're getting a sharp C sharp in there. So in the context of fast passages, I'm listening for the C sharp, in this case as a functional leading tone to the D, and thinking about ways to keep it down with very quick and small adjustments to the embouchure. Alright, that was already better. Same thing in Bach Sonata in E major. There the C sharp is obviously not the leading tone, but in fast passage work you need to be able to keep it in tune. So I'm really listening as I play to the E major scale of those passages. Now this sounds incredibly easy the way I'm talking about it, but it of course takes a lot of practice listening and thinking work. And I want to share a great tip on keeping that C sharp from being too sharp from Lois Schaefer, the great flutist and piccolo player of Boston Symphony Orchestra, with whom I was fortunate to study for a few months before going to Curtis. And she had this trick. What you do is you play C and G repeatedly, alternate the C and G, and then surprise yourself and play a C sharp instead of a G, but thinking G in terms of your embouchure and air stream. It's never going to be sharp that way. And I try it with my students as well. Sometimes I surprise them and point to them. That's going to be your C sharp. You can kind of try to surprise yourself and play the C sharp thinking of a G, but it's always going to be in tune that way. When I started this video, I was playing Debussy's Afternoon of a Faun. Debussy knew that this C sharp has a very special color, that it could be so smoky and ephemeral, and that would be perfect for that piece. And you can actually check my video of L'Après-Midi with Charles Abramovic piano on my YouTube channel to hear that interpretation. Because what I'm getting at is that when you're soft, when you're playing pianissimo C sharps, they can also be flat, of course. So that just reinforces the importance of listening at all times. For the C sharp or D flat one octave higher, when you're playing very forte, it can go sharp, but in a lot of our music, it can actually also be flat. It often takes us by surprise because it's flatter than you expect, given how very sharp the middle C sharp can be. One piece where this comes into play is the Poulenc Sonata second movement, where you have D flats, which are kind of functioning in a B flat minor sonority near the opening of the movement. Think your higher D flat is sounding flat, a tip that I use for the embouchure is to think of your bottom lip as coming forward and up and almost forming a pillow or support on which you're going to place the rest of the embouchure. So of course these are tiny muscles at work. It's a little hard to see it, but I'll just show you how I feel when I think of raising the bottom lip. You can sometimes tell yourself, ew. It's a very French sound, so I think this is part of classic French flute playing technique to think of you while you're playing this note. And that just gives you a lot more flexibility, both to bring the pitch higher, but to be there ready to be flexible depending on the context in which you're playing and to be in tune with everyone else. So here are some thoughts to bring into your playing for C sharps and D flats. Enjoy all your music, and I will see you next time. Bye.